So Joe Biden invited a bunch of drag queens and people with dozens of different genders to the White House this week to celebrate him signing the Orwellianly named Respect for Marriage Act. It's really an assault on marriage, or as ABC News reports, effectively this means that all same-sex and interracial couples who are legally married today, some 710,000 same-sex couples as of 2021, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, going forward cannot be denied civil benefits of their unions in any states if the Supreme Court precedents were to be overturned. But first, a message for you slackers out there. There still is time to order a Trump Claus sweatshirt or any of my awesome designs from markdice.com and get them in time for Christmas. But because you are a slacker, you have to pay for rush shipping, which is just an extra, I think, $5. This weekend is the cutoff. I think it's Sunday night, so be sure to get your orders in now. Seriously, though, old Joe brought a bunch of drag queens and gender whatevers to the White House to celebrate him signing this new abomination of a bill into law. Many of them, of course, like to participate in the Drag Queen Story Hour and reading books to small children. One of the famous ones that he brought has, of course, a sexual innuendo name, as many drag queens do, because drag is a sexual performance. But here is old Joe a decade ago, before his dementia set in.
I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
You know who actually respected marriage more than old Joe and the Democrats today? Bill Clinton. Well, I mean, not in that way. He also disrespected marriage, obviously, but in other ways, he signed the 1996 Respect for Marriage Act into law, legally defining marriage as between a man and a woman. That was when the gay mafia was just starting to get organized, but Bill Clinton, of all people, put his foot down and stood up against them, basically telling them to go to hell. But in 2015, the Supreme Court overruled that when the Marxist takeover was gaining steam in America. Not only have they redefined the official definition of marriage, and by the way, whenever talking about gay marriage, you should always use a mocking tone of voice or air quotes. When you're typing it, you should use quotes around it to signify that you're not going along with this cultural Marxist agenda and redefining words and relationships after tens of thousands of years of human history. It's not a marriage, just like these laboratory concoctions that these big corporate food conglomerates are trying to pass off as synthetic meat. It's not meat, it's garbage. The Cambridge Dictionary now changed their official definition of woman. They now say that it's an adult female human being, which of course it is, but also an adult who lives and identifies as female, though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth. They may have been said to have a different sex at birth. That's from the Cambridge Dictionary. I'm not kidding when I say that it won't be long now until it's a violation of the terms of service on the big tech platforms and a violation of the code of conduct at most businesses, schools, and government offices to call a transgender woman a transgender woman. If you just simply use the word transgender when describing them, that will be considered to be hate speech. They're going to demand that you call them just a woman, a real woman. You know that infamous arms dealer who old Joe did a prisoner swap for with Russia in order to get out that basketball player Brittany Griner? Well, since he's a free man now, he did an interview with a Russian television station and was mocking, or probably really just pitying, the ridiculousness in America.
Ну, наверное, по всем направлениям, да, это и наркотики, это и вот это, как по-русски говорить, LGBTQ+. Да? Вы представляете, сейчас в американских школах преподают, да, первокурсникам, 6-7-летним первоклассникам, да, что оказывается есть 72 пола. Не просто, например, там такие там геи как бы нормально, а 72.
You know things are bad when the Merchant of Death, that's his nickname because he was such an infamous arms dealer, is making more sense than the President of the United States. And in case you're just getting up to speed on this, the 72 different supposed genders thing, I mean, while it is a joke, the liberals actually take that seriously. They literally do believe that there are at least 72 different genders. Years ago, Facebook identified 58 different genders and then it just keeps growing and growing. There's no other way to describe what's happening other than we are a collapsing empire. What's happening to American culture is far worse than in the fall of Rome, or even in Sodom and Gomorrah. All they wanted was the right to get married, they said, but now gay men across the country want to put on makeup and women's clothes and twerk in front of 5-year-olds. I'm tired of seeing them, I'm tired of hearing about them, and I'm tired of talking about them. These people are assaulting our society, especially the children, the very possible method they can imagine. From Nickelodeon now to Disney. And many of us have tried to warn society about this when it first started happening about 5 or 6 years ago, when the Drag Queen Story Hour first came on the scene. Drag kid Desmond is Amazing appeared on Good Morning America back in 2018, for almost 5 years ago now, not on BuzzFeed's YouTube channel, ABC's flagship show, Good Morning America, to a salivating Michael Strahan while an 11-year-old boy danced around dressed in drag. Where was the outrage back then? Where were the Republican members of Congress? Where were the conservative political pundits? They were all silent back then because they were afraid of being called homophobic. So society just kept sliding further down that slippery slope. Alex Jones, myself, and a handful of other independent conservative YouTubers who aren't connected with any mainstream brand name media outlet have been denouncing this extremist agenda for many years, including Drag Queen Story Hour when it first started happening back in 2017. There's a reason Alex Jones was right is a meme now. And back in 2018, when he was banned from YouTube, of course he was banned from everything, but one of the strikes that led to his ban on YouTube was literally him denouncing an all-ages drag queen event where there were small children that were being forced to watch drag queens do simulated stripteases. And he called it an abomination, and YouTube said that that was hate speech. But America gave them an inch in 2015 with the Supreme Court decision legalizing same-sex marriage. And then just a few years later, they had taken a mile. But it really wasn't until about the middle of this year that it became a major issue amongst conservatives. And finally, members of Congress are talking about it, parents are showing up to school board meetings, even the Proud Boys are showing up to drag queen events that involve children to protest them. But the Marxists are doubling down, so buckle up, America, because by the time the 2024 election starts heating up, in spring or summer of next year, things are really gonna get crazy. And a reminder for you slackers out there, you can still get a Trump Claus sweatshirt, a climate change shirt, a classic Liberalism Find a Cure shirt, or any of my awesome designs by Christmas, but you have to order them by this weekend, and because you're a slacker, you have to pay for rush shipping, which is just, I think, about an extra $5. But if you use the promo code SLACKER at the checkout, you can save 10% off of anything. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Order your Trump Claus sweatshirt, an F. Joe Biden shirt, an Ultra MAGA shirt, or any of my awesome designs. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.